If I were to attempt to make a film about the life and times of Neil Kerley, well, I wouldn't, despite what you might think, start it here at Richmond where Mr Football played his first league game in 1952. No, I'd skip a couple of years and go to Whyalla. In fact, I'd go to North Adelaide, great Barry Robran, talking about one of North Whyalla's all-time greats.
We lived in Ward Street, up the top of our block, and down the bottom of the block there was a chap called Malcolm Bennett, and we called him Doc Bennett. His dad was a trainer for the club at the time, and he said to me, "Would you like to come to a pie night at North Whyalla?" And I had no idea what a pie night was. I was about 11 or 12 years old. And he said, "There are free pies and pasties." Well, I was pretty keen to get along there. We also had lovely apricot squares with cream dobs on the top of them, and free Moyles drinks. But the real treat after that was the magnificent man, and many of you in this room will know of him, Jim Milne.
Oh, Jimmy Milne, yeah.
That was part of your era?
Jimmy Milne. Jimmy virtually, did the deal with me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What year was that?
That would have been 54. Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I went down there and played a game. I don't know why, but we did, and because I just finished at Woomera, and Jimmy Carter approached me. Said, what's your thoughts on next year? I said, well, I've got none. I said, I don't quite know what's going to happen. I've no idea. He said, well, would you like to play with us? I said, well, I don't know. I suppose I'd be right. I don't know. And so they made me captain coach, and I played. Yeah. Yeah.
Was there any enticement to get you on board, or?
No, I just I didn't mind the place, Whyalla, and I'd met a few of the boys when we played in the country carnival from Whyalla.
Yeah.
And then I liked this bloke, Colin Rodder. I thought he was fantastic. He was great to me too in the country carnival. And so that was it. And I'll never forget our first training night down on the over by the sea, down from the school, or it was an old shit oval, but that's where we had our first training, right? And I didn't quite know what to say to him.
Because you'd never coached before?
Yeah, I'd captain coached Woomera.
Oh, at 19.
Or Cooley Milker at 19. But I'd never been coached before. So, because I had 2 years in the bush where I didn't play, 16 and 17. And so I didn't know a great deal about coaching at all. At Woomera, I just sort of played, and I'd already played one league game with West Adelaide, and then the last game of 1952. Yep. So I could play a little bit. And at Cooley Milker, of course, I guess I was the top player. And well, I was awarded the male medal by 12 votes clear. So and then I went on, so I learned a bit that year, which I was lucky enough to be able to pass on to the North. But trying to talk to Colin Rodder, Jack Dempsey, Tommy O'Brien, Ron Boothage, Georgie Burns, a lot older than me. So I said to myself, listen, Kerley, fucking be smart. Don't give them much talk, just show them what you can do. And that's what I did.
Much like Ken Eustice, I believe.
Similar, yeah, well, even more than Ken, because I was a protector more than Kenny was. I could protect, and I could help a lot of the players.
On the field, yeah.
On the field.
Neil was, as a coach, was the best for me because I'd already been coached the skills by Odie, and Neil always check your skills and kicking and things like that. But Neil was unique, absolutely unique, that he had what the others weren't in a position to have for me because they were non-playing. It was he had inspiration, and inspiration is something you can't buy it, you can't trade it, you can't get it, you've either got it or you haven't. And Neil's inspiration when you ran out in the field, Don Roach and all the young guys like myself and who were young, we actually had goosebumps running out with him, you know, behind him, and you knew that if somebody attacked you unfairly or like that, you'd hear a thump and they didn't do it again, you know. So probably, in the year that he should have won the medal, could have won it and should have won it, not taking anything away from Gary and myself, but I would say he probably lost a half a dozen or a dozen votes from umpires that probably ticked him a 2 instead of a 1 instead of a 2 or a 2 instead of a 3, just by, in the back of their minds. It's just one of those psychological things. So.
So what am I? I'm 85.
Where did you play?
I played, didn't matter. Mainly ruck.
Yep.
Mainly ruck.
Yep. Has the ground changed very much?
I don't know. It's
But it had grass on when you were there?
yeah, we had grass. Oh my word. Yeah, my word. Yeah.
What about in Woomera when you're up there? They played on grass?
No. One of the grounds had grass, but we had little rocks on ours. Out of Coolimooka. Jesus Christ. She was fucking hell. That was different.
Apparently Port Kenny had a hill on theirs.
Port Kenny?
Apparently they had a little hill.
Oh yeah.
Still there.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you had a choice. You could run, well mostly they ran around it, but you could run over it if you like. And after Whaler, where'd you go then?
I went to West Whaler. West Adelaide.
Yep.
Yeah, I went down there. I was bound to West Adelaide because I went down in '54 and played a game for them. And that tied me for another 3 years. I didn't know all that then. So when I went to Adelaide, because Port came up to play the combined Whaler side on the end of 50. They were premiers in Adelaide, and they played the combined Whaler side, which I was captain coach of, and I had a pretty good game, and I didn't mind knocking a few over either.
Yeah.
And after the game, Big Bob McLean, who was the president of Port Adelaide, came into the change rooms and, like the look of you today, young man, you played a pretty good game. I said, thank you very much. He said, yeah, what are you doing next year? Oh, I'm going down to West Adelaide. Oh, no, don't go there. They're no good, they're not a good club. You should come to Port Adelaide. You know, that's the best club. I said, Mr. McLean, I said, I'm going to West Adelaide. I'm not going to Port Adelaide. That's the end of it. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, there wasn't really any money back in the game then?
Nah.
You got paid how much?
Well, when I was playing league, I think we were averaging about £2 a game.
Wow.
£2 a game. That's it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And when I was captain, not coaching, just captain, I got the same amount of money as Billy Smith coming in playing his first game.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was just...
Well, there was nothing, there was no contracts in those days, and...
It wasn't really about money then?
Well, no. Not until I started to buck up, and I said, no, hey. I said, look, I'm not playing for this sort of money. I'm captain, I'm state captain, I'm captain of the club, and bloody Billy Smith coming in and getting his exact same money as me. I said, no. I said, I'm going to the country. I was going to go to around New Ripta.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I had a big offer. And
there's always been good money out there.
They stepped in and they got a couple of blokes to kick in a bit of money, and so I stayed there. But I know when Jack
finished his contract and Kerley took over, I think West had the choice of losing Kerley or making him coach, losing Otie and keeping Kerley as a player. So. And then after that, then everybody sort of got into it, but we got that.
Everyone knows
Neil, sort of used that.
Neil Kerley, that tough man.
One of the toughest. He was unbelievable for his size. Kerley, you couldn't go past him, and people don't understand watching football nowadays to watch him where Kerley played, taking on the Vicks or any in SA. he intimidated everyone because he was just so tough. He wouldn't stop, and he'd bluff everyone out. That was one of his big goals, but he could carry on with it. But his ruck work, for not a real tall bloke, but he was so tough, and he used to just take them all on. And some of his games against Victoria were just classics to watch, and beat the people like Barassi and all those toughies that we all knew about, and take them on was fantastic.
We'd beaten Western Australia in Perth for the first time in '62. Lindsay Head forgets it, but I remember clearly, and that was done before the interchange, and we had Harry Kerner with a broken collarbone and Freddie Bill's ribs standing in the forward pocket, and we still finished off and we won. And at the end of the day, we're having celebrations, and a few got up and had a speech. But I remember Lindsay Head getting up and saying, "Let's focus on Victoria next year," and everyone took that up, which is really a coincidence of saying it. But then it prompted everyone, "Hell, we're a team, you know, and we've got a big one coming up next year." That was in the sort of in their mind, out of that one comment, you know, it's sort of a realisation, and we felt a team for one another. So you had the man for position, and Foss hand-picked players for things, and just by chance I was on the back flank and half-back flank, and buggered me dead if Barassi wasn't the half-forward, you know. And I'd played against him a bit before and knew him, and he was a hard guy to run because he kept running all the time. Previous to that, I stood Jack Clark in a '61, I think it was, and I played badly, but when the ball bounced, Jack Clark would just, his half forward, he'd come down to centre wing, and as soon as the ball bounced, whether they got the knock or not, he'd just sprint to the forward pocket. Well, I did about 4 of those, and I couldn't keep up, so I realised our fitness wasn't right. But anyway, Barassi, and I thought, oh, geez, and we'd had a couple of sort of clashes before, but nothing serious. And anyway, I kept holding him, you know, before the ball, and he kept throwing his arm up. I'm going to cop one here soon. And anyway, I blocked him twice and ran across in front of him twice before the ball even got there, and he snapped. And first quarter, and he said, "I'll fucking kill you, you skinny little bastard." And I thought, geez, I got to cop it now. And so I started giving it to him back. I thought, well, if I'm going to go down, he's going to have to have a swing on. You've now flagged what you're going to do. So I just kept blocking him out, and he really did do his block. But what actually happened that game, everybody thought the same as a team, you know, and because what the Victorians were great at, they had Nichols, and it wasn't really against Victoria, it was against the rest of Australia, because they had Polly Farmer, they had West Australia, they had Darryl Baldock from Tasmania. They had probably 4 or 5 players, imports, and they're good players. Their greatest thing, what was experienced, who played with Victoria previously on that, they'd have Nichols or a good ruckman, whoever it was, and they would, as soon as the ball bounced, the Rovers would start running. As the ball would bounce, start running. And it'd be a punch, and they got on the run. So immediately, they're nearly at half forward, and they're a kick away from a goal or a score, and we're 3/4 of the ground haven't got the ball. Poss got Bill Wedding not to try and knock to 80 or just to punch it straight away, punch it as far as he could, because he did that the first time, banging it down to Neil Hawke, and Neil Hawke kicked the most miraculous goal you'd ever see. Had probably had less than that door to see. He kicked the goal, the drop punt, and then he went off and injured. But so that took him back. So they started blocking Bill, and Bill called. I was on close. Bill called. Said to Neil. He said, and he said to Neil, he said, "Can you do something about it?" As the ball went down, Neil just went through a clip like that, knocked him out, and carried him off. So, Jesus, it was on then. So, I think it was before, Neil Kerley was in a radio interview the night before. I forget who it was, said to Jack Dyer, I think it was, said to somebody said, what are your tactics for tomorrow? And I think Dyer chipped in and said, I think I'll send them out there and get them settled and I'll go to the races. A sarcastic remark like that, you know. I might have some of the names a little bit mixed up. So that spurred us on as well. That was the night before. And from then on we had the confidence to take them on.
Oh, it's been a good one. I said last year when I was over in Melbourne with the Hall of Fame there, and I had to represent Jimmy Dean. You ever heard of him?
Yes.
Well, the Vic didn't know much about him. Anyhow, I got up on the stage and the whole bloody room's packed. And I said, there's not too many people in this room that would have seen this man play football. I think I'm very lucky. I not only saw him play, I played against him and I played with him at state level. And he was an out-and-out champion. And I said, I've been racking my brain over the last couple of days to try and pick one of your great players that I can match Jimmy with. And I said, I've settled on Bob Skilton. Well, of course, I said, Bob Skilton, he couldn't be that good. And I said, they were both deadly drop kicks with their left leg, absolutely fantastic. As a matter of fact, it's been said in Adelaide that Jimmy Dean had such a magnificent kick that he could kick a pea on the run up a chook's bum and not ruffle a feather. Well, the fucking crowd have erupted. that went over the TV last year. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, he was a great player.
Yeah. Would it be possible, just while I'm here and we're set up, to go through the other photos that you got of your career and the great players you played with? Or
Actually, they're out in the shed. They're out there in a tea chest. I don't keep any in here. They're just locked away. And
have you ever gone through them then, if they're out in the tea chest?
No, because you got to bloody get them down, and no, it's too hard.
No? Another time, maybe?
Oh, maybe. Who knows? But not today.
Not today?
No.
Well, Neil Kerley, thank you very much.
Oh, you finished?
You're a North Whaler great. Good on you. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Unless you've got anything to add.
No, it was good.
Well, just quickly on your coaching career, you went from North Whaler to obviously West Adelaide.
West Adelaide.
But then you also coached Glenelg, you coached South Adelaide, of course, famously.
Well, I started with, Westies. They appointed me captain coach in '61, and we won a premiership in the first year. Their first finished 47.
With Kenny Eustice in there, I think.
Kenny was in.
You've got a very good record as a playing coach, having coached 3 teams, playing coach of 3 teams and won 3 premierships. Well, now, you'll have 18 dangers out there, but who'll be the biggest?
Well, we never like to pinpoint a dangerous player in the opposition. As you say, they're all capable of winning their position. Possibly Big Bill Wedding could hold the key for Norwood. I don't think Bill will dominate the field play at all, as he has done over the past few weeks. His centre bounce and boundary range could be a bit troublesome, but I think we'll be able to get over Bill all right on the day.
What other individual clashes do you think will be important?
Well, Russ and Ryan at centre must have a big bearing on the game. Lil and Bray, Sawley and Bennett, well, all over the field. Garnett, Inglis, they're all very important. An outright winner in either of those positions could go a long way to winning the game for either side.
Do you think if you get a breakaway early, you'll be hard to stop, or will you be in it at the end, even if it's close?
Yes, the critics and the people are writing up Norwood's determination and vigour and that. Well, I don't think, I'm sure they haven't got any more than we have. I think running through the average weight and that will be just as heavy as Norwood. And our boys have just as much determination, and they're really set to win this one. But I do feel if we break away early, which I think we can do, Norwood will be struggling very hard to catch us.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Time will tell. We'll all know this time tomorrow night. And let's wish you all the very best for tomorrow's big match.
Thank you, Niall.
It's a pity that both their sides can't win, but both Norwood and West Adelaide deserve the premiership. But it is West Adelaide's turn this year, and in their 5th attempt in the last 7 years, they have at last won the grand final. And it's congratulations to an outstanding footballer in Neil Kerley. Congratulations, Neil, on a mighty fine win today, you and the boys.
Thank you, Niall. Thank you.
As you can see, Neil is a very tired player. How did you find conditions out there today, Neil?
Well, they were the worst I've ever played under. They were very hot and the ground was hard, and I think everyone was waiting for that final goal in the last quarter.
And Neil, what did you feel like when you lost the toss at the beginning?
Well, I thought it was something in the hospital we had to overcome. I would have liked to won the toss, but the way the boys fought back in that first quarter, at the end of the last half, first quarter, and hit those 3 goals, it was a magnificent effort, and I do feel that our first and third quarters against the wind were our winning ones.
Well, they were terrific, considering that you outscored West Adelaide Norwood by 8 points in that third quarter, and led by 18 points at the last change. You must have felt pretty happy.
Yeah, I was quite confident we would win when we were leading coming to the last quarter. But West Adelaide have been in these positions before over the years, and then they've gone on to lose them. But this year, the boys, they're the best team I've ever played with, and they were really in there pitching in the last quarter.
They certainly were, Neil, and it's been a terrific year for you. Congratulations, your first year in league company as a coach. Not only that, you won the award last night from as the player of most value to a club. You also captained a very good carnival side in Brisbane, and now you've taken West Adelaide to a premiership. You must be particularly happy.
Yes, I'm very happy tonight, thanks, Sarah. It's the happiest moment of my sporting life, the one today.
And Neil, would you name best players very quickly for your side?
Well, it's very hard to separate. Eustice, Johnson, Rue, they were the 3 players that I felt that Norwood couldn't overcome. They seemed to be driving the ball in all the time. Ben played a valuable game on the half-forward flank, but all in all, the rucks, they all played a magnificent effort and magnificent part today in the win.
And Neil, I'm going to say you played a terrific game too. And once again, congratulations and enjoy your entertainment tonight.
We certainly will. Thank you, Arnold.
Thanks, Neil.
You know, you look back at silly things that happen in life, but in those days, it's 91 degrees, but those days it was you're not supposed to drink water, you know. So you could rinse your mouth out, but don't drink water. Well, imagine today going around 91 degrees, gasping for breath, you know. And but anyway, we were a very, very good team, and we just outplayed them. I think they'd beaten us in the second semi-final, or played against them in the second semi-final. And there's a guy called Della came over from Victoria. We were playing Norwood in the preliminary final, or the second semi-final. And Della king hit Kerley before the game started as a ball, before doing this. Spriggs, the umpire walked away, and he clunked Neil, and Neil stayed up, but he struggled for the rest of the day. And struggled anyway. When the grand final came around, and Neil, Della was sort of unaware, and as the ball bounced, Neil knocked him out completely, or hurt him badly. And then we had this bloody heat, and I had one of the things, I was on the wing, I think I was on Modra, and somebody kicked it high into Norwood goals, you know, and I was the only one on the wing, you know, at the time, and I thought, oh Jesus, that's just going to go out of bounds, and it floated, so I took off half-heartedly, and it come down to Robert Odie's going to mark it, you know, and I thought, oh, I better get there, and I just accelerated everything I could get, ran straight at him. I was still 30 metres away, and you wouldn't believe it, he lifted his head and dropped the ball. Yeah, and then he tried to pick it up again, looked up at me. I was about 15 metres away at that time, and we never had a good relationship, Robert and I. And he then finally picked it up, sort of grabbed it and picked it up on the boundary line in the forward pocket for a goal if he'd gotten away with it. And I let him have it shirt front on, knocked the ball out of his hands, knocked him out, and he reckons I should have got 10 matches. And I picked up the ball, I bounced it back and kicked to the wing, and I could not walk, mouth was dry, you know, just dehydrated, you know, stupid teeth. But anyway, to cut that short, we got up and won it, and it was really Neil's leadership was the thing, on the ground leadership. Nothing, no disrespect to Jack, but because Neil probably was captain, but Neil demanded more, and you felt safe, not being feared, but you just felt a confidence and a safety factor of everything when Neil was on the, and he and I were mates, we'd work together, so I felt sort of doubly safe with him. Not that you were frightened of anything happening, but you knew that you had protection because there was Kingett's beyond the play and everything those days. So there were some dreadful things, and things that the cameras could never, wouldn't believe if you had them now. I remember playing against North Adelaide, I think it was in the early final. It was a wet day, so it was an important game, and for some reason Neil had knocked one of their guys out, and I was on the wing, and Neil was just jogging past me to go down to where the ball, and Hank Linder has tracked Neil and run and going to kill him, and Hank could have picked Neil up, and as he did, as Muddy slipped and went on his knees, and I said, Neil, and Neil spun around, there's Hank like that, and he just went whack on the nose, and look, Hank was buggered then, but that was just a flick of how things, so Hank was going to take Neil out, and he was a powerful man, big Hank, and he just slipped the wrong time and fell on his knees as Neil turned around, but Neil was that inspiration, and also protection. You could add that to it as well, I think. Yeah.
And we lost the 62 grand final. I had to give 2 players a test in the morning, Saturday morning. One was Ken Eustice and one was Donny Roach, both all Australians. Both failed. And they beat us by 3 points. And then I got the sack.
That's harsh.
It's gone down. Anyhow, not to worry, I got the sack.
It was harsh. Anyway,
so,
go on.
then they wouldn't clear me. South Adelaide wanted me to coach them, but West wouldn't clear. So I played under West that year. I played for West that year under Doug Thomas. We made the finals, but we got beaten in the, I think it was the second semi-final. And then I went to South the next year, and they still wouldn't clear me. And I was a non-playing coach for 6 games, the first 6 games. Yep. But all of a sudden, we're sitting top. And so I finally got my clearance. And the players don't think you're going to walk into the side just because you're captain coach. I said, hey, I'm sole selector. I'll pick the side. So we played Port in the first game. That minor round record crowd still stands today, 27,000 people. And we beat them by 7 points. And I had 3 great years there. We lost the preliminary final the following year, and we lost the first semi-final that next year. So I went to Glenelg, who were bottom. We made the finals, and played in 5 grand finals in the 10 years I was there, but we only won 1. Things didn't go right in some of them.
But for Glenelg, it's significant that you won 1.
Well, yeah, I got 1. Then I went to West Torrens, they were bottom. We made the finals the next year, but didn't win a premiership. And then I went to Central, they were bottom. Under that big burly full forward for St Kilda, I think he played. Cowboy.
Yes, you're right.
Cowboy.
Yep. Cowboy Neil, yep.
Yeah. So anyhow, we made the finals, but we didn't win a premiership in 3 years. So I just went back to West in 83. 81, sorry, they were bottom. We won the premiership in 83.
You certainly did.
And then I
Big Sturt.
I went to the Crows as football manager.
Yep.
For a year. Then I joined Channel 7, which was great. And then I came back. I coached West again, but with no success at all. And that was it. That was enough. Yeah.
And you came down to Walker Flat.
Well, I bought this place in when I was coaching Glenelg. And it's 1969.
Really?
We've had it ever since, but it wasn't freehold then, it was annual lease.
Yes.
With the threat of being kicked out.
Yes.
But now it's freehold and a beautiful spot. Oh, yeah.
Because you grew up at?
I was born in Barmera and lived at Loveday, this tiny little place. You would never heard of that. Tiny little place about 2 miles from the river. And yeah, we had all our early life there, which wasn't easy. We lost Dad and came back from the war and died when I was 11. And Mum had us 6 kids on a little veggie block, and oh shit, it was tough.
Made good people, though.
Oh geez, she was a martyr. But you know, before you went to school, I'd have to catch the horse when I was about 10, catch the horse and plough on my hand, then go to school, come back and finish. Kids today don't do any of that. No, they're too soft. They want too much. They want everything. Yeah. Now, in those days, we had to fight for what we got.
Does make better people.
And work bloody hard. Yeah, you know, you learn the ropes pretty good, pretty quick. And then, of course, I had 2 years in the bush. I pissed off from home at 16 years on a bike, motorbike. And spent 2 years up in New South Wales. And,
oh, really?
And in the scrub. Cattle stations, sheep stations. And didn't play footy at all.
Who'd you first play footy for, Barmera? Or?
Barmera. When I came back, I played for Barmera. I started off playing for Barmera in the junior Colts. But when I came back, I played for Barmera. Yeah, the little fella from Norwood was the coach, Captain Coach Ronnie Cowper, little rover. And I used to just turn up and play.
So that's how you ended up at Westies, of course. It's in that book Knuckles, which I've got. Actually, talk about hard. My grandfather was at that. He's a Great South supporter.
Oh yeah.
Because he Cloverley Park, and he was at that. Well, all those games actually, of course, when he was coaching. Yeah, well, he was an orphan from Williamstown, and who went down to Mount Gambier for his first job when he was 12. Left wherever he was at 12 and got his first job down there in the sawmill. And his first day on the job down there, his job was to feed the wood scraps into the boiler. And of course, he's standing up there on top of the boiler there with no protection or anything, just this big hole and all this flame and stuff. And they said, look, you've got to get into it, but not too much or you'll blow the release valve. So that was his aim, to prove he's a man when he's 12 years old, was to blow the release valve, which he did.
Shit.
Just before knock-off time, woof, away it went.
That's
and he
tough.
decided he was going to make it in life.
Try and get a 12-year-old doing that today. Oh, you wouldn't get one. No, my first job when I came back was a fireman at Loveday pumping station with all the boilers. They pumped river all over the bloody place.
Yeah, right.
And I was a fireman throwing the logs in the...
Same job.
Hot and hard,
Yeah. Make a man of you, though.
Yeah, well, it certainly put a bit of muscle on me.
Yeah.
Mind you, when I was in Woomera and doing hard yakking, and in Whyalla, I was doing real hard yakking in Whyalla, working for Freddie Ficker, the builder. And like everything was manual. There was no bloody forklifts. Or if you had to go and get a load of truck, you'd shovel on. Same with it, and geez, you soon build yourself up.
Yeah, bloody oath.
I was a bit fortunate. I could handle any bumps from anyone.
What did you do up in Woomera?
I was truck driver.
Oh yeah. That would have been a little bit easier.
I had to take the fuel, diesel and petrol out to the bulldozers and graders and all that type of stuff and refuel. That would have been all right. Oh, it was good. Yeah,
it would have been fun.
Good fun.
And you're up there for what, 2 years?
2 years, yeah. No, it's been an interesting career.
That would have been bloody terrific.
Yeah, it was, and you learn so much.
Yeah.
Because you got to make decisions. Well, shit, where is he? I've got to try and find him, and I've found him, there he is. And you want fuel, so fuel. So you had to think, which is bloody good for your brain.
Yeah, was it really developed up there then, or they are still...
Which one?
Woomera.
No, well, they used to fire the rockets. That's where they used to shoot the rockets from. Yeah, that's where I was, out of Coolamilka.
Yeah.
We lived in tents.
Yeah, is that right?
Lived in tents.
That's what I mean. It was pretty rough then.
Oh yeah, it was pretty tough. But good education, really good education. This shit nowadays with kids, I'm lost in this world.
Yeah, well, so
I'm buggered.
I only know what I need to know, because I come out of newspapers.
No, I'm buggered. I can't even send a text.
Do this, yeah.
I haven't been bothered to learn.
Yeah.
When it rings, I answer it. When I want to make it, I'll bring it. Yeah. That's as far as I go.
Yeah, I miss those phones that used to have the buttons.
Oh yeah.
Because you can find buttons.
Yeah.
But now, whenever the jolly thing rings,
you've got to.
I'm like trying to get the jolly thing to answer, and I still can't
No idea,
I
mate.
tend to hang up on, I think I hang up on you probably a couple of times.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to
I'm
do.
the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same. No idea. Anyhow, all
Anyway,
right.
thanks very much, Neil. Fantastic. Good on you.
Yeah, when I won the medal, just going on that, because I can remember that. You would never understand what happened that night when I won the medal. I was at the show or something, come home, it was just the first time it was televised, but only on TV, The Count. And Colin Richards of the Bay said, you think you'll go? I said, oh no, you have no hope with us, we don't win enough going. Go home and watch it. So I did. We come home, grabbed the kids from the show, went home to watch it, and to cut a long story short, I won it by 1 vote from Neil Kerley, which was amazing. But with the second that was announced, the phone was ringing, there were calls from Darwin, Melbourne, there was cops out the front, ambulances, the council brought kegs around, and there would have been 1,500 people knocking down the door in our little trust home, and it stayed like that all night. Next day, well, I won't tell you, we found laying around out on the back lawn and in beds, some real big names there, just wiped themselves out. What a night. And that was just because the first one was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
You watched it on telly, though?
Yeah, watched the count.
Did you have the option to go? Or?
No, it was just a count.
Oh, they just had the count and it was only on
there
telly?
and does the count, pulls up the votes, 3, 2, gets to the last, and you'd know what this is like in football. You'd never think you win a Magarey medal. And the Magarey medal in those days, for someone like me or anyone that's grown up in that era, was the top thing in sport anywhere. It was up with the Australian cricket side. You just don't win Magarey medals. And so you've got no hope of winning it. Then they do the count the first time on TV, gets the last end. They must have had it set up that way because I was 2 votes behind in the last game or something, that close, and it comes out and they go, Central Districts, 1 vote, Torrens, 2 votes, 3 votes, Gary Window. Well, just collapse. And that's what I said when all hell breaks. And you still don't believe it takes days to even to get through, but it certainly changed my life, that's for sure, for the better.
Yeah. Obviously, you've spoken to Neil about it.
Oh yeah, Kerls, and that's right, he's good. We've had a lot of chats about lots of things, but yeah, he didn't like it. I think you wouldn't. I'd hate to, especially the way it was done with the last vote of the night, and I wouldn't like that either too much. So it was pretty disappointing for him, but still, he had plenty of accolades. He got his in the coaching and the state games and all that he did, so he certainly made his mark.